Greetings, warriors. My name's Pruitii, and welcome to, well, Let's Talk Mom. I've had this idea for a little while of where, you just sit with me, not really have much of editing or whatever, and I just talk. I am very passionate about being a mom. If you don't know, yes, I am a mom. My child is 3. I love them to bits. But I'm really passionate about being a mom and raising my child so that they can have a good emotional foundation, because I never felt like I had that. I know a lot of people don't feel like they have a solid emotional and mental foundation, and I feel like that's something that as a mom you should be trying to instill in your children as you're raising them. And I'm kind of inspired by like How To Dad. Like his videos are great. If you haven't watched them, I suggest watching them. But his whole shtick is like he never had that parental figure in his life, and he is doing that for as many people as he can by like showing what dads typically show off. How to change a tire, how to fix your toilet and that kind of stuff. And I feel like there's a spot for me to fit in on how to, talk about something that, is important to me and that I want you guys to have that foundation for. Because everybody, no matter what age you are, I don't care if you're a teenager, I don't care if you're 50, I don't care if you are already a parent or never will be a parent, but having these skills to have your emotional awareness, your mental stability, that is such an important thing in life. And I want to extend that hand out and, be the person that some people can reach out to and learn those skills. So that's why this is here. Pretty chill. I'm not really reading off of a script or, whatever high editing kind of thing. I do have notes. Because I am very scatterbrained when it comes to recalling information from my brain, kind of goes on tangents a lot. But yeah, eventually I would love to evolve this more where I get other moms on here or other parents or people that are very, in tune with this kind of stuff where hey, how did you, deal with this emotional thing in your childhood and how we can grow from that and all that kind of stuff. I'm your mom therapist. Oh gosh, that's a word. But today, I just want to kind of start it out simple with just talking about self-care, because self-care is extremely important. And if you don't really know how to do self-care, you can't really progress properly. What I mean by self-care is taking time to do things that will help you live better and improve your health, both physical and, mental. Doing self-care is extremely important. Self-care can range from things of just sitting and relaxing or crafting a healthy diet or exercising, all of that jazz. That is self-care. And a lot of us never really put a lot of mental effort into self-care. I know I have a hard time with it. I have a hard time recognizing that, I am very stressed right now. I need to take a step back and take some self-care because my mental space needs that. Self-care for mental health can drastically reduce your stress levels, lower risk of illnesses, and just a whole heap of positive effects. And everybody's just kind of struggling. Think about how your day goes. How does your day go? Do you wake up and then you immediately are go, go, go? You wake up, you either go to work, you go to school, you have responsibilities in life, you have some sort of stressor in your life. You never really get to sit down and care for yourself. You're always carrying this weight of life and caring for others and caring for like making sure you have financial stability and all of that stuff. But like you can't do that unless you take care of yourself. Like you just break down. You don't function. So before like we dive in more, I want to just clear up a couple of things about self-care. Self-care is not being selfish. It's not indulging. It's not like, I don't want to say like giving yourself a prize. It's not some sort of reward. It's not sort of like, it's just a healthy taking care of yourself. It's not a bad thing that you should feel bad about. It's not something that you're like, oh, I feel guilty because I spend so much time on self-care. No. It's not all of that at all. It's, you guys can see how I'm like rambling. I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, where do I go from here? A lot more relaxed. This is going to be weird to like post. So I hope you guys enjoy, the very chillness of it. But when you practice self-care, it's all about you. And because you're important. Like, if you didn't exist, your life would not exist, kind of thing. Like, if you, like, when you're sick, okay. When you're sick, like recently, this weekend, I was sick. I slept so gosh dang much. And like, I took care of myself by sleeping, like instead of pushing myself through the sickness, because if I pushed myself through that sickness, I would have been sick for longer. But since I took that time to rest, like I was able to bounce back pretty quick, Other important things about like self-care is a lot of you might be like, Pruitii, come on. I've heard the term self-care so much lately and it's kind of just exhausting. And I get it. I get that. It's a lot of like wow, words are hard. Like self-care has been increasing in, I guess, trend since like 2018. It's like quadrupled in Google searches. Quadrupled. That's a lot. And not only does it tie in to just how life is being hustly and bustly, and there was COVID, and COVID kind of took a big toll on a lot of us mentally, emotionally, physically. It was a lot. And I think that helped society realize, oh God, I got to take care of myself. Yeah, I got to take care of myself. So I want you to sit with me for a moment and think about, as I said earlier, like, what's your day like? Yeah. I could talk about my day. My day starts, I wake up. Time varies. I'm not going to say time examples because when you have a kid, time's, but like, I wake up, I go to the bathroom, get dressed, and immediately start out my day. Because I just have so much to do. And I am working on waking up earlier every day so that I can have time to start my day with self-care instead of diving into the intensity of my life. And during the rest of the day, I am making more time for self-care, but I'm not making as much as I'd like, I love taking baths. Taking long baths is like, a form of self-care. But I don't make the time for it. It's hard to justify, like, plotting out some time, saying, okay, you know what? This time means self-care time. I'm going to do my nails. I'm going to watch a movie or that kind of stuff. And, like, it's hard to mentally, like, do that. But I know that it's so good for me. Like, something my therapist suggested is I have an alarm set for 8 p.m. That's after my toddler goes to bed. That's after I'm done work for the day. And that is a reminder to be like, hey, take some self-care right now. Like, just even if it's 15 minutes, doing something like that. It's taking the time to be more mindful, to really live instead of exist. my personal favorite forms of self-care is a lot of like what people would call pampering, like as I mentioned earlier, baths, painting my nails, all that kind of stuff. I enjoy a good glass of wine. All of those things can equate to self-care, and they are so important to making sure that I'm actually enjoying life, because we are alive to be happy. Yes, I get that life has a lot of stressors. I get that, things are hard. And I get that sometimes you need to focus on tasks, focus on like life and responsibilities and all of that stuff. But we exist to find our happiness. We exist to be happy. And with so much going on in the grand scheme of the world, how much is going on in our lives, how much is going on with just mental health, like a lot of people are lonely and depressed and having such hard times, and we deserve to have our happiness. Like that is why we live. It's happiness, finding what makes us happy and doing it. Self-care provides happiness. Self-care is different for everybody. Like, you might be sitting there thinking, I hate baths. I don't paint my nails. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. And that's good for you. That's good for you. I know what makes me happy. I know what caring for me looks like. But do you know what caring for you looks like? Do you know how to care for yourself? Besides, like buying a new video game or something like that. Well, let me tell you all of the different types of self-care, because like you can break it down as much as you need, because there's so many things that you need as a person. And who knows, maybe some days I'm not feeling a bath. Maybe some days I'm like, I want to go for a nice walk because that sounds nice. I need that physical need, Speaking of physical, one of the types of self-care is, physical self-care. It's taking care of your physical body, because like you exist in your body. You can't exist outside of your body. We're not to that point yet. We're not in AR, like VR kind of Sword Art Online type of shit. We're not there yet. But taking care of your physical being, it means like eating healthy, moving your body, stretching, doing all of that kind of stuff, getting some good sleep. Sleep is important, guys. Get some good sleep. Spending time in like nature on a walk, because you're outside, you're moving your body, soaking in the sun. Like you can literally just stand outside, sit outside, or sit on a bench, soak up some sun. All of those things are parts of physical self-care. I mean, of course, things, overlap, because like taking a walk can be mentally good for you, but also like physically good for you. But I'm just focusing on like what is physically affecting your body, because when you're doing things like eating a good diet for yourself, like I'm not saying, go keto. I'm not saying like 1,200 calorie type of diet. No, like I get that. Dieting culture is awful. What I mean is, eating some fruits and veggies sometimes, eating less sugar in the day, eating a diet that's tailored for you, that keeps you healthy, that literally boosts your energy levels and your quality of life. Doing daily stretches helps your life. Like I am very avid in stretching my wrists. Like when I am drawing or doing anything with my hands, I take that time to stretch my hands because I want them to be nice and nimble. And one of my parents, never stretched, and they have arthritis in their wrists, and they're like, I need a brace whenever I'm on my computer. It sucks. And I'm like, I don't want that for myself. I want my wrists to be nice and nimble so I can keep drawing, and doing that makes me happy. So please, come on, take a moment. Let's take a stretch break. Yeah, let's take a stretch break. Just roll your shoulders, like stretch your arms up, move your body a bit, and feel how it feels to move, because it's important to stretch because our bodies are meant to move, not just be stagnant. Other things that are important for physical self-care is like drinking water, which I should do. I mean, I should get my toggle open for that because you guys can't see me, but But like drinking water is important because our bodies are made out of a poop ton of water, and we need water to like flush out our body, like, and keep us hydrated because we need that. All of those things are and boost your quality of life, boost your body, and they are taking care of yourself. They're not the most fun ways of taking care of yourself, obviously, but that's where we have other aspects of self-care, like mental self-care, Mental self-care is more focused on like psychological things and cognitive thinking, that kind of thing. It's stimulating. It's not just sitting on your phone browsing Twitter, it's doing something where you engage your brain, be it like learning a new skill, journaling, engaging in like complex games like chess, or just even sitting down to meditate and think about positive things in your life. All of those things focus on your mental health, and it puts you into a mind space that stimulates you to grow instead of stagnating. Like, I have a problem with Twitter. I think a lot of people have a problem with Twitter. I find myself just gravitating towards it whenever I'm not doing anything and just scrolling endlessly. But that's not taking care of my mind. That's just filling up the space. It's not stimulating. It's not exciting. It's not good. And I'm trying to shift away towards where I am going to be spending my time learning sheet music, because I used to know sheet music. Like I did choir like all of my life, and I've forgotten how to read sheet music. So I am taking that time every day. And instead of when I would be just browsing Twitter, I am opening up a game on my phone that I open it for like 10, 15 minutes, and I learn musical notes. I'm engaging in something where I'm learning, and yet I am taking care of myself because it's not doom scrolling. It's awakening different parts of my brain and helping me grow as a person. It's extremely important to do this. So please take a moment, like honestly pause this video and find something that you can use as your mental self-care. Be it journaling, be it, finding a game like I did where it's like, teaching me a new skill. Find something that you want to do that makes you happy. And I really mean this. Get away from social media. Like, if trolling people on Twitter is what you would consider your mental self-care, please find something else, because that is not beneficial to your brain. I promise you. Okay? I'm looking at you. You better do it. The next type of self-care is emotional self-care. Like, I will be talking about later on about like emotions and how we process them, like later on, as in like in future little episodes of this, because right now we're talking about self-care. But it's hard to understand emotions sometimes. Like, you can be so overwhelmed emotionally that you don't know what you're feeling, and taking the time to care for yourself, care for your emotions, allows you to really accept what you're feeling, really accept your entire being, and understand what behaviors you do and all of that together. Like, I'm teaching my toddler right now how to recognize their emotions. So I'm teaching them, like, okay, you're rubbing your eyes, you're getting a little cranky, it's right by your bedtime. Do you think you're tired, showing like the signs of what being tired is. And of course they're a toddler and they're like, no, I'm not tired. But like setting up that foundation, because sometimes I'm feeling things and I don't know how to articulate that. I don't really know how to share that information. Like, it's overwhelming. And by taking care of yourself emotionally, you're able to better become in tune with your emotions, because your emotions are not bad. Even the ones that are quote unquote negative, like anger or sadness, like they're not bad. They're just a part of you and how you express yourself to the world. So things you can do to self-care for yourself emotionally as well. One thing, finding a therapist. Yeah, I highly advocate for finding a therapist. I understand that it's hard, it's expensive, but finding a therapist that you can trust in, that you can let yourself be vulnerable with, is so healthy for you, because you're able to get things off of your plate that you never really thought about before. Like, for example, me. Hi. I have a lot of issues with how I was raised as a kid, and I never really understood how it affected me until, I got a therapist and I start talking through it and understanding how those emotional scars of my past affect me and affect how I function and how I see the world. And it's so rejuvenating to understand that part of myself. So please find a therapist. Even if you feel like you are doing fine mentally, emotionally, find a therapist, because they do so much. And I applaud anybody who is a therapist right now, or anybody who knows of a therapist either. Like, it's such hard work, and I am so happy that therapists exist. Seriously. Other ways to practice emotional self-care is, well, just journaling your feelings, writing them down to fully let them be. Like, if you don't know what you're feeling, like, sit down in this moment. Right now, I feel compassion because I love talking about this stuff. I love helping others. Like, the core of my being in life is to help others. And I'm feeling very compassionate towards you listener, even though if I don't know who you are, hi. I feel compassionate towards you because I want you to have a better life. And that makes me happy as well. Like, just being able to sit down with your emotions. I think being able to describe your emotions and how you feel them, super good. Journaling your feelings, Other important things of emotional self-care is like setting boundaries. You might be like, hey, that's not like an active like moment where I just stop and take care of myself. It is self-care. I promise you. Setting clear and healthy boundaries to protect yourself is self-care, because you are protecting yourself from getting into the situations that are damaging for yourself. I'm still learning how to say no. I'm still learning how to not offer my entire being to everyone at all times. And by setting the boundary of like, okay, I can say no sometimes, it keeps me from getting into like an emotional pit of like, where I'm just spent on energy, but people were still asking more and more. And I feel obliged that I have to take care of them. But setting that boundary is keeping me from getting to that point anymore. And that's beautiful. All of these things are like tied to your emotions. So find something that works for you. Like, are you like me? A people pleaser? Do you have a hard time saying no? Set yourself some boundaries. Sit down. Set yourself some boundaries. I want you to feel connected with your emotional self, because even if you're depressed, I understand depression really does a number on your emotions. Even during that time, it's good to still understand how you're feeling and really care for care for your feelings when you're expressing them. Well, that one was kind of deep. Let's go to something a little more not so deep, like environmental self-care. I'm not talking about like, global warming and all of that stuff. I understand that that's a thing and it's a problem and we need to take care of it. But I'm talking about environment of like where you are. Your house, your office, your school, your desk, wherever you find comfort in existing. Like for me, my office is my space. I have it decorated to the nines and all of the things I love. Like I can look around this room and see so much things that I love. I like keeping things very clean. I like clean and organized, and everything I do is like clean and organized. Like that's just what I do. So finding the right environment for you to exist in is self-care. It really is. So it could be, for example, if you really find enjoyment in seeing your bed nice and tidy and made, do that. Do you like having things around you, like a lot of stuffed animals? Put stuffed animals in the space that you frequent the most. Like if you work at home, put stuffed animals in there. If you work at an office, put some stuffed animals in there. I don't care what AHR says. You are building an environment that is suitable to you. Oh, that one. Listening to music that you enjoy, setting time to wind down from the day. So like curling up underneath a blanket, or, maybe stopping by like a nice cozy coffee shop or like the library or something, someplace that makes you feel good. Because if the area around you how do I phrase this better? The area around you can affect your mental mood. Like I notice when the sink is completely full, stacked with dishes, I get angry. I'm just like, I hate this. I hate how that looks. It bothers me. But when I take care of it and it's nice and clean, I feel so much better about myself that I'm like, yeah, it's all tidy. Heck yeah. If you're the type of person where you need a lot of things around you and you don't have those things around you, you feel that discomfort because the environment around you is not tailored to you. So take some time, tailor like a place that you love, where you spend most of your time, and tailor it to you. Is it your bed? Okay, cool. Let's work with that. Do you like your bed tidy? If you don't, that's fine. Just make sure there's no trash. You don't need last night's fast food in your bed. You don't need that. Put things in your space that you care for and that make you happy. Craft the environment around you to make it your own. And that is self-care, because you're caring for yourself. It just, is more outside of your body than rather your own body. That makes sense. Another way of caring for yourself is financially. I get it. I'm not going to send shivers down your spine about personal finance. I understand that everybody has their own set of situation that finances are dealing with. And I don't want you to talk to me about your finances, because I understand you have your own life. I have my own life as well. I don't want to talk to you guys about money. That sounds boring. But cultivating a healthy relationship with money and how you use it frees such stress and anxiety from your life. I used to use Rocket Money, or is that what they're called now? Yeah, I think it was originally Truebill and now it's Rocket Money, I think. I can't remember. But I used to use that all the time, and I would feel so disheartened because every time it would be like, you spent this much more money than you did last week. And I'm like, that's not helpful. That's not helpful to me. How does that break down? How does that affect me? That just makes me upset that I spent more money last week. Whereas now I'm using, you need a budget. It's a lot of weird changing to get used to mentally, but I'm able to set budgets for each thing that I want to spend money on. Like, I have a budget for fast food. I have a budget for grocery shopping. I have a budget for toddler things because they have a lot of things going on. But seeing that and able to know where my money is going, I feel so much more confident about spending it. It feels good that I'm like able to say, oh, hey, I did a great job not spending so much on fast food this week. Okay, maybe I can, splurge a little bit more this week, kind of thing. Instead of being like, oh God, I spent so much money last week. I don't know what I spent it on. So what I suggest for you to do self-care financially is finding some sort of budgeting software that works for you. I'm not saying you need a budget. I'm not saying don't use Rocket Money. I'm saying find one that works for you so you understand how you are using your money and how you can start, better using it. Setting up financial goals for the year. Like, I have a couple of things that I'm saving up for, which I never would have thought I would do. I have a couple of things that I'm excited to purchase this, and every month I'm saving money for it. Or I'm putting more money into saving accounts than I usually do because I understand where my money is going. Another thing that you want to deal with, like, for financial self-care is your debt. Like, I have a mortgage. I understand debt. I understand it so much. But getting familiar with it and not feeling ashamed about it. Because I don't want to talk about finances and the economy, but like, debt is something we all deal with. And if you're debt free, hell yeah, good on you. But like, if you have debt, being accepting of it and creating a healthy plan that doesn't like force you to drown in paying off your debt, it creates a healthy relationship that you're able to be like, yeah, I'm doing good with that. I know I'm going to be paying off this debt by this time, as long as I keep track. Hell yeah. So just find what works for you financially. Definitely budgeting app, definitely setting goals and dealing with your debt and creating a healthy relationship with money, because money is just a part of our lives, and taking care of our financials is also taking care of us because it reduces our stress about money, because money is scary. We all know that. Besides, financials, let's talk about social self-care. Self-care doesn't necessarily have to be you by yourself all of the time. I'm not saying lock yourself in your room, build your environment around you, care about your finances, emotional journaling and walks and all of that stuff. Like, self-care isn't just a solitary activity. Like, caring for yourself socially can help maintain like the relationships in your life. It helps you feel loved and more connected with the people around you. It's hard to remain connected, which is weird to say in our age of like social media, and like it's easier to connect to people than ever, but like it's also hard to maintain that relationship. It's hard to connect to the people that you love, because humans, I don't care if you're an introvert, I don't care if you're an extrovert, humans are social creatures. We depend on others, and we need to take that time for us to feel fulfilled that way. So, social self-care can be a range of things. It could be, well, hanging out with friends, not having any distractions, just truly spending time with them, making new friends, finding somebody online that you can just sit and talk to. Hey, if you want to talk about like some sort of fandom you're in, you find a place for that and you talk with them. You build that relationship. Cutting out toxic people in your life is important self-care. And I know that. I unfortunately have dealt with my share of toxic people in the past, and cutting them out of my life has made me a better person and made me feel better as well. Spending time with the people you love and care about is self-care. Don't spend time with people that don't care about you. Don't spend time with people that bully you, berate you, make you feel awful. because you are building yourself up. You're caring for yourself, and hanging out with those types of people is not good. Again, bringing up if you like to troll people on Twitter or get into arguments with people, don't do that. That's not self-care. Self-care is saying, hey, I found a cool movie. Let's talk about the cool movie. And then you talk about the cool movie and you talk about it with friends and whatever. And you have that social connection. And I get, like, I'm not saying introverts, you've got to do this every time, you know, like all of the time. I understand introverts need their space to recoup their energy. And I get that. I'm not saying like go to parties. It's all about finding what makes you feel comfortable. If you excel at going to parties and just talking it up with random strangers, go for it. If you are a type of person that's like, I just want to voice chat my friends this evening and just shoot the shit, do that. Find what works for you socially that is taking care of yourself in a positive way. So I get, like, sometimes when you hang out with friends, you just want to, you know, talk about the negative things in life because it's hard to not ignore that. But, like, to do social self-care, it needs to be positive and more. Obviously, I'm not saying, like, don't go to your friends and loved ones about, like, negative things in your life, because that's important too. But I'm just saying, for self-care aspects, you know, doing something a little more positive is better. Hopefully that made my point across. Hopefully we'll figure it out next time. Let's talk about recreational self-care. So, you know, recreational stuff. That's such a big word, but I just mean, like, doing activities, doing your hobbies, doing things that aren't as mentally stimulating as, like, your mental self-care type of stuff. Like, you want to watch a TV show? You want to binge it? Go for it. Taking that time, self-care, recreational self-care. Pamper days are recreational self-care, which I happen to love. But it's an activity that isn't really engaging your brain, but it is stimulating enough that is enjoying and relaxing. Like, you know, reading books. You know, that's still stimulating, but it's not like playing chess kind of thing. Playing a simple board game or playing a video game that you really enjoy. Being creative. Okay, here's something for you. I don't care if you don't identify as a creative person. Doing creative things is good for you. I'm not asking you to, like, paint a picture. I'm not asking you to, like, publish artwork on the internet. I'm not asking you to do that, but I'm asking you to just doodle, you know? Doodle and, like, draw silly shapes. You know, it doesn't have to be, like, intensive, I'm learning how to draw kind of thing. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna let my mind wander. Oh, look, that's a cool doodle. Heck yeah. Or coloring books, guys. Release your inner child. Because children have so much fun doing anything. My toddler loves coloring. They love just riding a scooter around. They love, you know, just getting their hands into something. And recreational self-care, I guess boiling it down, is literally you are releasing your inner child and letting them have fun. So talk to yourself. Talk to your inner child. What does your inner child enjoy? And let it out. Does your inner child love to swashbuckle and play pirate? Watch something piratey. Dress up a little bit more piratey, you know? Like, engage in what you would call, like, role-playing if you need to. Doing these things lets you have fun, man. Because fun is so important. Fun evolves, obviously, as you become an adult. And, you know, never let something stop you from having fun. It's self-care to have fun. So, you know, consult your inner child. See what your inner child says. Gosh, that sounds so cringy, but I mean it. Like, figure out what you missed as a child that you're missing in your adult life and do that. So, yeah. The last one is spiritual self-care. So I'm not saying like this has to be religious or anything, or like super high spirituality or anything like that. This is more spiritual in the sense of connecting to your inner self, of finding a deeper purpose, more meaning in your life, that kind of spiritual. So not like God, not like chakras or anything like that, whatever you partake in, or if you don't partake in anything at all, it's more about connecting with yourself, getting rid of the outside noise around you and finding true inner peace and happiness. Because I can say it's hard for me to take my average stress level and bring it down, you know? I never really notice that I'm stressed, but when I take time to practice self-care spiritually, I'm like, wow, I am stressed all of the time. All of the time. Before we talk about those methods, though, let's take a water break, guys. Yeah. Because I've been like talking for 40 minutes now just about self-care, and self-care is drinking water, and I'm doing that. Heck yeah. But to practice spiritual self-care, again, a lot of these are just dependent on you. So if you go to a place of worship, if you do that kind of thing, if you practice in any sort of religion or spiritual activities, participating in those is fulfilling your spiritual self-care. If you are not those type of people, that's fine. Things like mapping out your core values, understanding what makes you as a person, doing meditating, doing yoga. And I get it. Yoga is like a mixture of like high spirituality type of stuff and self, it's stretching and it's getting inner peace. It's spending that time to find who you are as a person. Like for me, I do a lot of self-reflection, and my therapist loves it. My therapist is like, wow, you just know so much about yourself. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm thinking about it like all the time. Not in a vain way, but like thinking about like, I want to understand myself more so that I can be a better person. As I said earlier, like my core sense of identity is helping others, and I didn't really realize how much of that I was missing out on recently until I discovered that. And now I'm doing things that I feel fulfilled in. Like this entire change for my channel, all of this stuff is like my way of fulfilling my core identity of helping others. I'm trying to be better about like reaching out to my family and saying, hey, do you guys need anything? I know you had a surgery coming up. Do you want me to make dinner? And you know what? I'm making you dinner. And you're going to appreciate it because I am forcing my help upon you. But like finding out who you are as a person and getting aligned with your core values really can take your life from just existing to actually living, because then you're able to put the time of doing what you actually care for and how you feel like you can make your imprint on the world. And taking care of yourself is a part of understanding all of that. Yes, all 8. Yes, that's 8. we've got physical self-care, we got mental self-care, we got emotional, environmental, financial, social, recreational, and spiritual healthcare. All of them together wrap up into self-care. And I'm not meaning like you need to do all of those all of the time. That sounds exhausting. It's more of understanding what you need when you need it. Like I don't need to do financial self-care all of the dang time. I've taken care of that. I've taken care of setting like my budgeting software. I've taken care of like setting a financial goal for myself. And sure, sometimes I'll dabble in it when I need to. Like obviously you need a budget, you need to take care of it every day of like, oh, what did I spend today? Let's put it in the right category kind of thing. So like I don't need to put active work into that. That's already established and ready to go. Same with the environmental stuff. Like the most I'll need to do is like tidy my office when I feel like it needs to be tidied. Like, I'm not telling you that you need to do all of those 8 different forms of self-care all of the time. It's really dependent on how you are feeling and what you feel like you need. And if you feel like you don't need any of these, I bet you're wrong. I bet you are wrong. You can't lie to me. You can't say that you don't need self-care, because you do. I don't care if you say, hey, everything in my life is happy. Hey, everything in my life is good. You know, I have no stressors. Everything's going well with my personal life, my social life, my job life. All of that is good. I don't need self-care. Yes, you do. Because establishing self-care is going to be a continual thing. It's not something that you just do occasionally. It's not something that you can just like do once and then you're like, yeah, I'm good, self-care. It's an ongoing thing. So let's do an exercise together, shall we? Let's sit down. If you are a very hands-on person, get yourself a pen and paper. If you're a very techie person, get yourself a notepad on your computer. I don't care. You need some sort of writing medium. And I want you to sit here, close your eyes, and say, what do I need today? What do you need today? Are you feeling hungry? Go find yourself a healthy snack. Could just be a fruit or, whatever healthy thing you want. Are you feeling, man, I am not having fun today. I didn't do anything fun today. Go write it down. Write down what you are feeling and what you feel like you are missing it in your life right now, this very second. And if you are sitting there being like, I don't know how to find that, that's okay too. I just want you to take some time and really reflect on what you feel like is missing in your life. Are you feeling like stability is missing? What kind of stability? Is it mental stability? Well, there you go. There's what you need to focus on for self-care this day. Is your mental health. Is it more of a mental thing of like where you feel like you're brain fog? Or is it more of an emotional thing where you feel bad emotionally? That's the avenues you take. I want you to find one thing. It doesn't have to be a long list. Just one thing that you feel like you're missing out on today. And I want you to nourish it. I want you to take care of it. It needs that care. I promise you. Even if you feel like, yeah, I'm good. I don't really care. Then tell me this. What is your core values? Do you know your core values? Do you know your true self? And if you don't, you need spiritual self-care. You need to dive into that and really understand yourself. Do you feel like, oh, I haven't talked to anybody today? Well, go and talk to somebody. Go and have fun with somebody. Just go socially hang out with somebody. Go, if you don't want to talk to anybody either, you could just go and people watch. You need to find that one thing and nourish yourself in that way. And if you are still sitting here, haven't written anything down, and you're just like, Pruitii, I really don't know what I need right now. There's a lot that either it feels like a lot of what I need I can't get, or I can't see that. I can't see what I want. Please do not feel bad about yourself that way. Like, it's a skill that you acquire to be able to look at yourself and be like, okay, I am missing this. I'm going to fulfill this. That's okay. It takes practice. And if you can't figure it out in this moment, if you can't figure out that one thing in life that you need right now to take care of yourself, just choose at random. It doesn't have to be exactly what you need at the right moment of every day. It's just something that you put care into. So if you are looking for ideas and you don't really know what you need in life, well, here's a couple ideas from me. 1, take a 15-minute stretch break. Find a video that will guide you through that. Do a stretch break. If you don't like that idea, that's fine. Another thing you can do is pursue a skill. Have you had something on your mind that you've wanted to learn? A language, maybe? Do it. I don't care if it's like an actual like course thing. I don't want you to scout that out. I just want you to type into YouTube or type into whatever skill learning program you have and say, I want to learn drawing. And you just watch like one of the top results. I'm not saying you need to like plan it or anything, just something enough that will get you that self-care. If those don't sound interesting, fine. Let's get yourself a good cry. Because at this point, you are probably very emotionally overwhelmed and you don't feel like you can connect to yourself. Like, find something that will make you cry. A good example is Grave of the Fireflies. I am terrified to eventually watch that movie, and husband really wants me to watch that movie. Okay, side tangent here. I first watched that movie before child, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good story. You know, it's good, it's sad. And husband was like, you are a robot for not crying at this. And now that I have a child, I'm just like, oh dear God, I will cry my eyes out. And sometimes it's okay to cry. So if you need a good cry, that's my movie suggestion. If those don't sound good, take a look around you. Where are you at right now? Are you in your bedroom? Are you in your office? Are you in the living room? Does that space feel comfy for you? If not, go grab a blanket. Go grab a stuffy. Go grab some physical item that'll boost your environment. If you want to, another way of self-care is just perusing all of the different, money apps. Find one that fits you. You don't have to plan anything in it right now, but just something that fits you. Maybe none of those sound appealing. That's fine. Let's maybe, just go and hang out with a friend. Give somebody a call. Say, hey, I kind of just want to hang out. You want to go grab a coffee? You want to go to McDonald's or something? Just find somebody you can talk with and enjoy time with. And if none of those still sound appealing to you, oh my goodness, you are being a little picky, aren't you? But that's okay. I want you to find one that works for you. Maybe you need to doodle a little bit. Maybe you've never doodled in your life. Try doodling, seeing how that works for you. And ultimately, if you really want to get deep, do some self-reflection so that you can spend that time to actually understand which thing you need self-care-wise. I don't care which method of self-care you choose to do today. But my homework assignment for you guys is to do one thing. It doesn't have to take an hour. It doesn't have to take, too long. Just some sort of time for you. Okay? Just start small. And I want you to take this habit of being able to sit down and reflect and be like, what do I need today? I want you to start doing that every day. It's a hard ask. I'm not saying that you need to act on it every day like I'm asking you today. I just want you to be able to stop, take a moment and say, hey, what do I need right now? And take that time to dedicate to self-care. So this could be in the morning, like when you first wake up. How do you feel today? Do I feel like I am sore everywhere? Okay, I will stretch a bit to get all of that tension out. Maybe you need this time to be around lunchtime where you've already gone through the morning and you're just like, okay, how'd this morning go? What do I need later? Or maybe you're the type of person like me where you need it at nighttime after the day is done. You take that time for yourself because that is your time. I want you to find a regular routine of when you take that time to reflect on what you need. And as you get more consistent with that, Start practicing the self-care. Start realizing that, okay, today was a little rough emotionally. I think I need a good cry. Then you're able to take that good cry. Take the time to do it, even if it's only 10 minutes. Build that habit for about a week and a half, and see how you feel. How do you feel incorporating these small moments of self-care? Was it hard? Was it hard to keep up with? Because it is. It's hard to build a new habit. If it's hard, ask for help from the people that you live with your therapist or anybody like that. If you need help, ask for it. Saying, hey, I'm trying to practice self-care. I just am struggling really bad. If you have somebody in your house and you go out to them and you're like, hey, I need 10 minutes. Can you give me like 10 minutes away from everything that I can practice self-care? Because if you're having a hard time with the timing, do that. And if you feel like, hey, I did really good this week on focusing on my self-care, then keep doing it. Maybe extend the time a little bit longer. 10 minutes not enough anymore? Up it to 15. 15 not good enough? Up it to 30. Up it until you feel comfortable. And I don't want you to slack on this, guys. I really don't. I understand it's hard to do it every day. I'm working on that too. That's why I have a timer on my phone for 8 p.m. That's when I practice some self-care. Because I deserve it. And so do you. You deserve that self-care. You really do. So, to recap a little bit, we talked about what self-care is and, the many facets of it / how to do activities that fit those assets and, homework assignment. Maybe I should just edit. I'm trying to not do as much edits in this video as I can, but I'm really going to just post a homework assignment right next to me. I really want to hear your guys' journeys. I want to hear how you guys are practicing self-care. I want to see how well you are doing with it. Obviously, I want to know if I'm helping you. Fulfilling that core need. But yeah, I want you to take that time. I want you to tell me about it in the comments. I want you to, share with me your journey on self-care. It's hard. It really is. But please, take that time for yourself. Even if it's 5 minutes if you have to. Take that time for yourself. Well, that's it for this Let's Talk Mom episode on self-care. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you were able to just sit and chill with me. Maybe you were listening to me as you were playing a video game or doing something else, because I do that a lot. When I'm playing other games, I have videos going on. I don't really pay attention to things and I'm just background noise. So I hope that you, wherever you are in life, you enjoyed this. And whenever you feel like you're struggling in self-care again, please come back. Please come back, because I want you to continue self-care and build it as a habit in your life, because I talked about why it's so good. I don't want to talk about it again. We're at the end of this. But yeah, let me know what other topics you would like for me to just talk about. Things on the docket as of now is handling your emotions. That's going to be the next one. How to love yourself, or at least how to be neutral with yourself, because that one's a big one. But if you have any other topics, do let me know. If do you know any moms or parents that would love to talk about emotional stuff with me? Let me know, because I have a couple of people that I want to bring up on here eventually. But yeah, thanks guys for hanging out with me. Let's take one last water break together, shall we? Good old water. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. keep fighting your battles, build your habit of self-care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodaloo!